of introduction is going to be Sprachen, which are the languages that you speak. So the question for that we have is, welche Sprachen sprechen Sie? Okay, so what you're asking here is, which languages do you speak? You see the Z is capital here, so this is your formal Z. Now we turn the same question into an informal question. We have learned the conjugation of sprechen. So the question becomes, welche Sprachen sprichst du? So one question that you have is a formal question, welche Sprachen sprechen Sie? The next question that you have here is an informal question, that is, welche Sprachen sprichst du? Here you can include as many languages as you speak. So we will just take 2 languages for example here. So let's say the answer becomes, ich spreche Englisch und Deutsch. Okay, so ich spreche English. If you see, the spelling of English is a little different, so is the pronunciation. So English in Deutsch, that is English in German, is called as English. So ich spreche English und Deutsch. This und is and, which combines these 2 parts together. So ich spreche English und Deutsch. Now, there is another thing that you can add here. Let's say you are a beginner, you have just started learning Deutsch. And when you say ich spreche Deutsch, the opposite person just expects that you know Deutsch and they will start talking very fast. So here you can indicate to the other person that you are a beginner by adding the word etwas. So I can say, ich spreche Englisch und etwas Deutsch. What this means is, I talk a bit of Deutsch. So you can very well skip this if you don't need it, but you can use it if you feel like you need to indicate to the other person that yeah, you're a beginner and you're just starting out. So we'll repeat this. Welche Sprachen sprechen Sie? Welche Sprachen sprichst du? Ich spreche Englisch und Deutsch. Or you can say, ich spreche Englisch und etwas Deutsch. Our next point of introduction is Beruf, which means profession. So you can cover your profession in your self-introduction. The question for that is, was sind Sie von Beruf? This is you asking the opposite person, what are you by profession, or what is your profession? Or we can make an informal question with it, that is, was bist du von Beruf? So you are asking this question formally with the, informally with du. So here you can state your profession if you are a student. So you can answer this by saying, ich bin Student. Or if you are a woman or a girl, you can answer this by saying, ich bin Studentin. As we know, all nouns have genders. Same thing goes for professions in Deutsch. That is, if you are a man in that profession, there is one word for it. If you are a woman in the same profession, there is another word for it. So if you are a student and you happen to be a guy, it is ich bin Student. If you happen to be a girl, for the same profession, that is, you both are students, but here the word becomes Studentin. So remember, masculine, der Student, feminine, die Studentin. You can skip the article when you are using professions. So let's repeat this once. Was sind Sie von Beruf? Or was bist du von Beruf? Ich bin Student. or ich bin Studentin. And our final point of introduction is hobbies. So the question for that is, was sind ihre Hobbys? Or was sind deine Hobbys? Here, you are simply asking the person what their hobbies are. The answers here can be diverse. So, whatever verbs you have learned, you can use them as hobbies. Say, traveling is a hobby, playing is a hobby. Okay, so whatever hobbies you have, you can either use one hobby or you can use multiple hobbies. So, let's take a few for example. So, the response here can be meine Hobbys sind Reisen, that is to travel, und Fußball spielen. Okay, so these are the two hobbies that we have mentioned here. That is to say, yeah, your hobbies are traveling and playing football. So we will repeat this once more. Was sind ihre Hobbys? Or was sind deine Hobbys? Meine Hobbys sind Reisen und Fußball spielen. These are the pointers that you can use to introduce yourself. So this is how you will introduce yourself when somebody asks you for your introduction. Not always is it going to be a dialogue. Let's say you go for an exam or you go for an interview and your examiner or your interviewer just asks you to introduce yourself. So this is how your introduction will start. You start with Ich bin Anna, for example. Ich bin Anna. Ich bin 25 Jahre alt. Ich komme aus Indien. Ich wohne in Dresden. Ich spreche Englisch und Deutsch. Ich bin Studentin. Meine Hobbys sind Reisen und Fußball spielen. So this much can count for your self-introduction at both of these places in an exam or in an interview.